What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to 3-Star Draw. I am down south of 77, and this here is an adult collector channel where we usually talk about G.I. Joe, primarily classified, but every now and then we take a look at some other stuff that I'm interested in, like to collect, like to bring you guys along while I take a look at it, and today is one such video. I am very happy today. Today was a good day. Tell him, Cube. So, Operation Monster Force finally started shipping. Mine showed up today. Now, I only ordered 2 of these guys, and there's a couple reasons I only ordered 2 of them. And only ordering 2, they sent mine via DHL, so it took a little longer to get here. I think people that ordered all of them or multiples, maybe they shipped them a different way because of the weight. Who knows? I don't care. They're here. I'm super excited to get these guys out and take a look at them. Now, the only reason, or the reasons that I only ordered 2 of them is, one, because they're kind of expensive. They're like $40 a piece. Now, I'm used to buying classifieds that are average 25, so actually they're not 40, they're $36.99, but you know, we round up these days. And I don't have any other Fresh Monkey figures aside from the Joe Fest exclusive Dracula and Forgotten King, and they're awesome, but you can't really make much of a determination on those figures because they're clear translucent. It's a different type of plastic. You can't see any of the detail work. So awesome as they are, it really doesn't give you a good sense of how the figures are going to feel. So I don't have any other Fresh Monkey figures to go on, and I did not want to spend a bunch of money and then not like them, or you know, not be happy with them, and you know, my eyes got bigger than my stomach kind of thing. I didn't want to do that with these guys because I really dig the vibe of them. It's like horror and sci-fi and military stuff all mixed together. I love what I have seen of the storyline for it so far. Looks really awesome. So that's my little spiel on Monster Force, and today will determine whether or not I get more of these guys. I'm leaning toward probably yes. I've kind of listened to a couple other reviews, and of course we all watched Robo's video where he showed off all of these guys. But I'm looking at my first one today. So we're going to take a look at the Sleepwalker Heavy Weapons Division. Now, there's a couple of guys that are real similar to this in the wave. There are a couple of repaints in the wave. But I ultimately chose this guy because, I mean, look at him. I really like that giant weapon. It's like a MG42 or something. And green. This guy's got the green highlights, so of course I wanted him. You guys know I like green. And did you notice on the back of the packaging something I thought was interesting? You got the cross sell of all the guys on the bottom, except for this one. I looked at the other figure that I got, and it's the same way. I thought that was a cool little detail, is it's got the big blow up picture of the figure that you got up here, and then on the bottom are the remaining 7 in the wave. I thought that was a really neat way to do that. A lot of other stuff, like this figure, would be on the cross sell as well. So I'm excited to get this guy out and check him out. Can't wait. Been waiting on these guys for a while. And it is Halloween time also, so that makes it even better. Alright, I'll get us some more light on in just a minute. Just take a look at the box and the packaging here. Awesome picture there on the front. And the spine of the box does look like a book where there are different volumes in the book. This guy is number VI, I believe that is 6. And then we get the back, and if you want to pause that, there is kind of a synopsis of what is going on with the story for these guys, kind of what's going on with it if you don't know kind of what the story is. So we do have Velcro flap on the box. On the inside, you get a comic panel if you want to pause and read that real quick. That is kind of an introduction as to what this actual character is, and get a look at him the way that he is packaged in there. So these guys they're not zombies, and they're not actual monsters per se. This guy is, these are actual humans, and they are asleep. They're really asleep. Their breather, it's not a gas mask to protect from gas. It is a gas mask feeding them gas. They are being fed against their will a gas that makes them fall asleep and basically brainwashes them while they are asleep. I do have the Forgotten King up here from Joe Fest. They are unwittingly serving that guy, and by way of Dr. Caligari, who is another figure I have ordered from Wave 2. He is kind of the mad scientist behind this gas that these guys breathe, and they breathe the gas and are basically sleepwalking, serving this guy and his army. So everything looks really, really cool in the packaging there. Got 3 more sets of hands, 2 alternate head sculpts, and then of course his weapons. And then you get all of this with him as well as the stand. So I'm going to take a second and get all this stuff out. So much stuff. Look at all this stuff that this guy comes with. So I should probably start by mentioning what I am expecting from this figure and from this line, because I love the idea of it. I love the horror stuff meets military. I really love the idea behind it. It's 2 of my favorite things rolled up into one, and I can see where some G.I. Joe fans might not like this, and that's fine. I mean, people like what they like, but for me, this is like a dream project kind of deal. So there's been a lot of movies and stuff over the years that kind of combine the two, but I don't think we've really had good figures based on it. So I'm hoping for G.I. Joe combined with Mythic Legion, basically, is what I'm expecting out of this. Get the variety in the military stuff of G.I. Joe and the quality of paint and accessories of Mythic Legions. At this price point, that's what I want out of this line. So you do have the Tombstone, which is also a base form. You've got 2 foot pegs there. It is all kind of cracked and beat up, and it looks neat. I mean, it does look like a tombstone marker. And then you lay it down for the base, and it's got Sleepwalker on there. Very cool. Dracula come with one that was all blood, and Forgotten King did come with one of these. So we're going to set that aside over there. Oh, I don't even know where to start. So it's got several blast effects and things. There's so much stuff here. So let's go ahead and check these hoses out and try our best not to knock any of this stuff off in the floor, because if I do, I will likely never see it. Now, I don't know if these are extra hoses or if it's going to require all of them. So you got 2 really long ones, 2 medium ones, and then 2 short ones. Have a feeling I know what some of those go to. They actually, even the hoses themselves do look weathered. So right off the bat, things are looking good. And this is doesn't feel flimsy, doesn't feel like I'm going to break it, but it does have a rigidity to it, I guess. And then you've got peg ends on each one of them that I guess they all are the same. So we're going to set those aside just a minute. And then he does come with his armband, does have the Division logo on it, which is skull and 2 Siths. Really like that. So these guys are also doing like the Crimson Red Shadows, Crimson Moon vibe. They have some of those type figures that are coming out next year. I've got a couple of those ordered as well. Go ahead and look at a couple of the little fittings here. Just want to get an idea of the detail that goes into it. I hope it's picking up the colors. Each one of these little pieces has got 3 or 4 colors in it. Looks like it's brass, maybe weathered brass and some sort of metal. So you got a bunch of these little hose fittings. Same kind of detail on these things, same color scheme. All of these little pieces seem to be the same type of paintwork on them. They all look very good, very beat up, very weathered. Like all this equipment has really seen some battle or, whatever. Even got little rivets on there that are done in gold. Just all kind of little pieces to it. And hopefully we can figure out where all of them go. They all seem to be fittings for plugging stuff into the hem and the rifle, the backpack. Speaking of the backpack, we'll go ahead and look at it. You've got what appears to be a mine here. The same level of detail on it. At least it doesn't come already stuck on something where you can't get it out. Check out his backpack. I'm guessing is going to go this way. You got 2 hose fittings here, 2 hose fittings here. You got several types of paint on there. You got the gold brass fittings. You got some kind of little meter over here that is green. And I believe a lot of this stuff is different colors for the different figures. That are kind of repaints of one another. Got a couple little status bar things down here. Everything is very steampunk. That's definitely the feel that this goes for. And I love steampunk stuff. I'm not like a aficionado or anything, but I always like the look of the steampunk themed stuff. And this is very, very steampunk. You got a leather strap running along the top and the bottom, and each one of those has got raised studs on it. Looks like some of those. I can't actually tell if those have been hit with paint or not. It looks like they might all have a little touch on them. It's hard to tell, so maybe it'll show in the video. Just some amazing sculpt and detail work going into this thing. So far, so good. Let's go ahead and look at the weapons here. He does come with a bunch of hands. I just threw them back there. We kind of know what those are. So this is like a little... It's a pistol, obviously. I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know what to say this might be based on. Like a real-world weapon type. The heavy weapon looks like something. Not really sure what this looks like. But I am digging it. You got your green in there. You got your green on the top. You got some silver there. You got silver in front of the trigger. You got silver little bracket there. It's just, there's paint all over this. You got gold accents here. This thing is really gorgeous. And the paint, if you'll notice, like the paint is not solid in some of it. Like on the green, I know it really showed on this other side. So if you look in here real close, you can kind of see that the green is not solid all the way through. It shows here, and I think that effect is like intentional because this is a gas-based energy weapon that this guy has. That's why I really like this steampunk sci-fi horror vibe it's got, because this is not it's not firing bullets. It does look like there's a little of paint bleed over spray there on the top on those. That side's not quite as bad. Not a big deal. I mean, it's gonna it's going to happen. I'd rather it be a little overbleed onto this, the muzzle or of the weapon than it be not there and be missing. But I guess maybe you could always say that maybe this weapon is leaking or something. So I love the look of this. Let's take a look at his big rifle. Now he is the heavy weapons guy. That and the green is why I wanted this dude. Now this looks like something out of my cousin actually mentioned it and completely nailed it. It looks like something out of Wolfenstein. If you ever played the game Wolfenstein or any of the sequels, especially some of the new generation sequels, all of this stuff screams Wolfenstein to me. And I love those games, so maybe that's why this speaks to me a lot. You've got kind of the same thing on the small pistol here that you've got on the larger one, just in a bigger scale. These are a little bit different color greens, but so this one is the color. They're flip-flopped a little bit. So I'm guessing maybe one of these barrels, ports for blast effects that it comes with, I'm guessing maybe one fires an energy-based particle type weapon and the other will fire out the gas. That's what it looks like to me. And I think it's interesting because it's reversed. You've got the bright color down here on the small weapon and up here on the large weapon, and same thing here. So you got to keep that in mind when you set these guys up and play with them in your imagination. Gorgeous wood grain stock here. Like this, to me, this looks like like I said, a MG heavy machine gun. That detail work in the wood, the paint looks great. Silver down here, same silver on the trigger guard. You got this drum mechanism. Doesn't rotate, but you can feel where this is put together. So I don't want to move it too much because I can actually feel this piece move. So I'm not going to mess with it too much, but it's not meant to rotate. I'm guessing this is probably some kind of extra charging port or who knows. Got a port over here. So you got one on each side for this weapon. I'm guessing that's where the long hoses are going to go. Again, got your gold here. Got gold here and like a brass silvery color. Guess that's more silver. No, there's silver. There's so much paint on this thing. Anyway, you get the idea. It looks great. I absolutely love what they've done with these weapons. Again, they are firing energy particles and gas and not bullets. So this guy comes with this head sculpt on him. We're going to take a look at the other two because the other two figures in this wave that are basically all repaints, they each come with a different one of the heads attached, painted in their respective color. So one of the other Sleepwalker guy comes with a different head. The other guy comes with one of the different heads. So I like the way that they really did that. So you got this one, really cool. This is kind of the red shadow. Okay, he's got the symbol up there, got the sigil on the hat. And you can see even his face guard here, his mouth and nose guard, that even has paint weathering on it where it looks like, it's taken some damage. Helmet has some damage on it. And that's sculpted in. That one looks like that's paint. This one is definitely sculpted over here. And then on the back, you even got green in there. You got three little red status, three little status dots. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen while I talk about it. And this is kind of a silver color. It goes all the way around. And I love this going back to like the industrial kind of steampunk look. That looks like a hose clamp that's on your radiator in your car. And so maybe that's how this helmet fits on and it tightens. You get the kind of slanted eyes on the rectangular slanted eyes, I guess. on this version of the head sculpt. Let's take a look at this one. Got your green eyes on this one. This is a different version of the gas mask that he's wearing. The gold button here. I love the green. I love those green eyes. I like those are not even the canister filters where they would screw on. They're not even in the same position. That's some cool detail. Then you got this centerpiece with all these little divots in it. That is a different color. So is the nose piece. So it's got this kind of, this one really has a skeletal look. With one of the other figures, this is painted white on. It looks really good. And even the inside has got some paint on it. So this really does look like a, you know, all of them look like German helmets from World War II era. Fantastic head sculpts. I don't have any complaints so far. So let's look at the guy himself. Detail work on this dude is just fantastic. So he's got this green overcoat, his over jacket, green sleeves, textured pauldrons that are molded in. They're not separate pieces. You got gold belt buckle, brass, probably brass. I keep saying gold, it's brass. And then this head is a different version of the gas mask of this one. The one that doesn't come on is more skeletal, and on this one, it's not painted up here, but you've got these buttons here all the way around the back of it. And it really, I mean, the way it's made, it really does look like this is, think Darth Vader's mask. So you got your top part of the helmet, and it fits down on the part that goes around the face and eyes. These little vent things here. Really, really great attention to detail with these things. So his overcoat is flexible at the bottom, so you can get some movement out of him. Comes down into big slip-on gloves that go almost up to his elbow, and you've got some of the same color piping, like a silvery piping that goes around that on both sides. Goes down into the pants, which are gray, has the same type material that the pauldron has. Actually, I can't tell. This isn't textured. Up here it's textured on the shoulder. It's not textured here, but it is black, and it just kind of blends it all together. Gray pants that go down into tall, like riding boot style boots. Overall, man, this dude looks really good. So far, so good. Of course, he's got the lapel, or not the lapel, the collar emblems on the sides here. Out of the box, man, just so far, I'm pretty impressed with this guy. So let's check out some articulation. Moves at the top. He does not have a separate ankle movement. The whole boot moves. I like to hear that. I'm moving the ankles. You know how I am with ankles. I seem to get figures that have really bad ankles, and that is one thing I was concerned with these guys. Both Dracula and Forgotten King have kind of loose ankles a little bit, but I really chalk that up more to the type of plastic. Knees move really well. Man, look at that. You're not getting the G.I. Joe arm up above the shoulder. So the pauldron does go all the way into the cut for the chest. Arm moves at the top right underneath the shoulder. You got your pinless double jointed elbows. Move really nice. Check this side out. Top part of the elbow is a little stiff, but I broke free really good. They feel well made. So, see what he can get as far as Punk with Toys says is Jean-Claude Van Damme. He can do it, The coat kind of gets in the way to get him much further than that comfortably. And these guys have... Do these guys have drop down hips? Yes. Well, I don't think they do. They drop. I guess they do. They just don't like detach and go down very far. I can't really tell. What do you guys think? Usually you can, pop them loose and they do wiggle. And you can get him into a pretty good seated pose. And I think these guys have the, not the crunch. They don't have the crunch. They've got the torso cut, I believe, underneath here. Now, you're not getting this off, I don't think. And it's not made to come off. I don't know. You'd have to take this guy apart to get his overlay with his coat off, I think. I don't see any way to get that off without popping off the arms and the head. But I have no desire to take it off. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's probably already done it. Overall, see how this guy will stand up. Oh, man, I like that. Stands up really nicely. I'm not going to fool with trying to get him on one foot. I was going to try it. I used to do that, but it takes way too long. This dude, so far, I am impressed. Let's go ahead and try to check out some of his gear here. I have a feeling this is going to be a process. I got the box over here so I can kind of look at it, and it really doesn't give you a whole lot of insight. So I do want to check him out with the different heads on him real quick. Oh, man, I like that one, too. That one's kind of got this fin on top, like the Rocketeer kind of look. The neck seems kind of tall, but... So... he can look up and down decently. I'd say probably as much as your average classified does. Not great, but enough. Let's go ahead and throw the Crimson Shadow head on him. And all of these heads look good on him. So this does match. His face shield does match the coat pretty well. All of these different looks, like there's so many ways you could set this guy up. I'm gonna put the original one, or no, I'm gonna put this one on. I like that one. Sit there. Okay, all right. Sorry. I'm just still kind of in awe that I actually have this dude here. So, standard backpack peg. Standard, try to line it up going through an overlay. So, does go in pretty well. I don't feel like that's going to fall out there. So, there's ports all over this. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of at a loss as to what to do with all of this stuff, all of the fittings. So this one actually does not have... I'm looking at the box. Okay, so... looks like these plug in there, but that don't look like that plugs in, does it? This is probably going to be one of those pause it and figure it out moments. These really do look like they plug in. Let's see how they port in here. because I'm trying to figure out which end. So it looks like that end is going to plug in that way. It goes in there. It's just, I wish there was some sort of instructions for these when they come with so many pieces. I feel that way with Mythic Legions too, on a lot of those. So we got 2 hoses on the side of the backpack. There's just so much with these guys. Okay, so yeah, I did stop it. So I was looking at the box art. So these guys are pretty next level. I knew these figures were pretty modular and they're designed to be really, really modular. So these actually pop out of this head sculpt. I was trying to figure out how to fit this fitting in here and it wasn't staying. And that is because one of these little elbow pieces, you pop that out and you can put one of these in. So then you have the pipe on this side. And then you got another elbow fitting over here, or you can put it up here. And then this piece looks like it can go back here, and it also has more hose fittings in it. And you have plugs that you can use to put all of this stuff together. So you can pop that in there and have one of these hoses connected here. Let's get one of the shorter hoses for this because you're not going to need a long one for this. So you can run this in here and they do fit in tight. You probably are not going to have to worry about any hoses coming unplugged with these guys. And probably ought to put this together first. Pop that in there. Secure that on that peg. And then you can pop that together on there. So lots of different looks that you can achieve with these guys. These are essentially, these are the perfect army builder. There's no right or wrong way it doesn't look like to put these together, and there are actually other little connector pieces where you could, if you wanted, you could use one of these pegs and you could connect a couple sections of hose together. Okay, maybe not that one. Okay, you can't connect the hose together. No, the hoses have ports. So you can just use that as a little extension for to make the hose come out longer on one end, give you a little more flexibility, and just to have a bunch of different cool little fittings. So a lot of people are probably not going to put these guys together the same way. That's what's really so interesting about them. So I'm going to grab, let's try his hand. You are definitely going to want to get a baggie to put all of these little accessories in. And I've seen where some people have said that the pegs for the hands don't fit in very well and secure. I didn't have a problem there. It's in there. So the hands even have detail on them. Got some Kevlar or armor or heavy material for punching. Let's see. So the little pistol does not have a port for one of these hoses, but this one has a bunch. Let's see how well it goes in. That's what she said. hands are pretty pliable. Don't feel like I'm going to bend the plastic on them. And these guys do have decent butterfly joints as well, but the overlay is going to block it a little bit. So he can actually hold this thing pretty decently. And you see he's got it at rest here in the promo shot on the box. What you can't see on the box is what he's doing with his other hand to support this thing. I see they've got one of the plugs here, so I'm wondering if you can use one on the bottom here as like a handle. It's actually what it looks like. Got the little grips there. So I believe this is actually the handle for him to hold it. But you know what? Even if it's not, it looks like it doesn't matter. And you can use it however you want. So it is going to be... I kind of thought that when I got this guy with this big old gun, how it was going to be trying to get him to hold it two-handed. And it looks like it's going to be a little bit of work to get him where he's firing it two-handed. Then again, maybe he doesn't really need to shoulder it because it's firing energy and gas. Get him. I don't necessarily care for that look with it off to the side, so you can get the hose plugging in. And we get complaints with our Joes sometimes about how long or short the hoses are, and you don't get that with this guy. You got plenty of hose there. You could probably wrap this through something or around something with him. So you just have to play around with it a little bit. I think you can probably get a little more of a firing pose with him where he can shoulder it. So it is very hard for him to get it into an aiming pose. I think it can probably be done. You get the idea. And he can't actually hold it with this hand, so maybe it's not really meant to, because this is a really long stock to be able to shoulder it. So I'm guessing it's really more meant for him to rest it. Like that. No, not crazy about that. It's almost like it's too long. Let's check out his pistol. Perhaps. Finger is pretty flexible, so you shouldn't have any problem getting it bent so he can get it in the trigger. Looks really neat. Let's try one of the blast effects. So they go in there nicely. I don't know if you'll be able to get this one in there as well. Nope. So you can actually have him shooting. There's the energy beam. So let's see. We said one was gas and one was energy. So let's put that one in the top. I think that's pretty neat. I like the translucent green, and these are pretty flexible. And also has this one here. I wonder where... Oh, okay. So that one actually goes around, it looks like. There's just all kind of stuff with these guys. And it really looks like that should line up and go in there. So much with them. There we go. So that one's kind of bent. So you can actually configure that however you want until you put it in the floor. Gotta drop something. Can't do a video without dropping something. So when you put those two together, you get that effect. It's pretty neat. And then also, I think all of these guys are coming with smoke effects, which I think every character that comes with a weapon should come with a smoke effect. But these guys are going to be great for some photography, mixing them in with your cobras if that's what you want. I don't know that, I mean, they're going to look good on the shelf with some cobra guys. I don't know that I'm going to mix them together because they can be their own thing. Like, there's enough of these guys and they have their own lore. So lots of little pieces with these guys. It would take forever to try to show all the different configurations of this guy. So now I know little pieces like this that he comes with are essentially just caps that you can put on in spots to hide the peg. His mine, you can use one of the connectors, and I think I've got them both on something. So all of these little things, this was the other part to his gas mask. You're going to be able to use one of the connectors to put that over here if you want. See, it matches up. So maybe it's not even a mine. Maybe it's like a dial or a gear. I guess it can be whatever you want it to be, but it's freaking cool. So all of these little deals are just, those are just caps that you can put essentially anywhere that you want to cover the peg holes and stuff. So you can put one, oops, something fell. So you could put one here on the weapon. If you want to cover up the hole on the weapon, now it just looks like it's another piece of the assembly for this thing. So there's just so much with them. This is probably one of the hardest things that I have actually reviewed since I've been doing unboxing and reviews, aside from maybe a Mezco, because they come with even more stuff than this. So reviews kind of been a mess, I feel like, but I hope it's been somewhat informative anyway. So now you see that you have tons of options with this guy, and that is, now we know why you don't really get any instructions, is because these guys can really be or do whatever you want them to. So I did not show him with his Red Shadow Crimson Moon armband. Fits on there nicely. I mean, I don't feel like that's gonna fall down. I've got it stuck up there and seems like it's gonna stay. So I really do need to do some work with this. I just kind of wanted to show you the basics of what he looks like and what you kind of things that you can do with him. He's got the splayed hand. Show that because I like these hands. Some people don't like these, but I always like these grasping hands with the fingers out. I like these on a lot of figures, and they're going to go perfect with these guys. So you could even, I bet, take one of those connector pieces and put there's so much stuff with these guys. There's just so much. Be careful with these things, by the way. So you could probably take one of these and put this over here. Just had an idea. I'm sure somebody else has probably already done it. I'm not pushing this in all the way, so it does go in. I'm just not pushing it in where it's nice and flush. But I'm thinking you can put one of these extra pegs in over here. Probably find a way to store this on his backpack. You definitely can if you push the connector piece in all the way. So little stuff like this to make these guys so modular and mobile is going to make so much difference with setting these guys up and playing them. And these are some really good army builders, because you could buy 2 or 3 of the same dude and none of them would look the same aside from their uniform. Like their entire head and the way you set this up will all look completely different. So that's just kind of my overview. I was going to say quick, but it was not quick, but you guys knew what you were in for. On my first Monster Force figure, I've got one more to do. Don't know that I'm going to do it tonight, but you guys get the idea. What do you think about this guy? What do you think about Monster Force? What you've seen from me so far and from other people that have gotten them and reviewed them? It seems to me like they were definitely worth the wait. They are a high price point, but this does accomplish what I was hoping. It is a very well made, seemingly G.I. Joe type figure, and I would say that the paint and the sculpt work is on par with Four Horsemen. If it's not, it's got to be really close. So I think they're worth picking them up if it's something that you're interested in. If you like the vibe, you like the theme, you want to put them with your Cobra guys. Let's grab a Cobra guy real quick. All right, grabbed a Cobra officer because similar look, and he was easy to get to, and he's easy to put back. So you can see they are pretty much same height, and so you kind of see what you're getting with these guys. Same build. They're definitely going to fit in with your Joes if you want them to go with your Joes. So far, so good with Operation Monster Force. Now that I know what this guy's like, I will probably pick up the other troopers for sure. Don't know like the some of the other ones. There's some that I'm not just crazy about, but I like, but I don't love. So I probably will get some more of these. They are definitely worth it. They are pricey, but I feel like the value is there for everything that you get. This is more accessories and modular stuff than you're ever going to get with a Joe. So I think the money's there. If I've got to give this guy a rating, I really wasn't gonna actually rate these guys. You know, I usually save that for Joes, but I don't. You know, this dude's probably easily probably a 4.5, which is an awesome scale, an awesome score for me for a Joe. I would definitely give this guy a 4.5 yeehaws. And the only thing that I could really take off, I think, is I do wish there was maybe not instructions for how to put them together, but a legend or a description of all the pieces. Like this is a cap. This is a fitting that you can pop other hoses and things into. Just an idea to tell you what you are looking at, because it is daunting when you first open them up. So that, and 3 repaints in the same wave. I know they got to make their money, but also differently than with G.I. Joe stuff, none of these guys will look the same when you put them together. They're all going to have a different look and a different place on the shelf. I know I didn't show all the hands. He's got punching hands, and he's got a C-cup hand, which is probably the one he needs for this. So you really can't count off much for him. The quality feels like it's there. Guys, I know it's been messy, but that's my opinion. That's my first look at them. Maybe the next one will go a little smoother now that I kind of know what I'm looking at. There's just so much stuff here. I'm going to have to get a bigger storage bag for these guys. Anyway, if you like this review, I appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up, that like, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys for the next one here on 3 Star Draw.